the grid goes down, just with solar only, you can back up your home. In California, during certain times of the summer, it's significant money. We're talking hundreds of dollars a week. Obviously, because of the microinverter being underneath each panel, you get panel by panel information and data real time, which is just fantastic, right? And so
all right, welcome back to the Solar Surge podcast. I'm joined here today by Andy Newbold of Enphase. He's the head of communications. And Andy, pleasure to have you here on the podcast channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Daniel. Really excited to have you guys here.
Absolutely. So obviously we're coming to you live here, guys, from RE Plus in Las Vegas. And excited to talk through everything Enphase. Enphase has been a huge product that I have oftentimes sold design systems with. I think at this point I probably have 200-300 clients of mine that have Enphase systems out there, and probably about 100 batteries in commissions personally myself. So looking forward to kind of getting into some of the topics of what you guys are working on, new products on the market today. Yeah. Maybe just kind of jump in. What's going on at Enphase today? What are some of the big changes, new products, new announcements?
It's a really exciting time. We've been, as you know, we launched the IQ8 recently. Within the past couple of years, and we're really expanding that, not only here in the United States, but throughout the globe. So that's been really exciting from the solar side, and now we're also looking at new IQ8 products that can pair with higher powered modules. All the way up, to high power modules used in residential settings, but also looking at small commercial settings as well, small businesses, churches, schools, that sort of thing. So that's, a lot of really exciting stuff there. As you know, the IQ8 is the first grid forming inverter that's come on the market. So, we do have applications where if the grid goes down, just with solar only, you can back up your home. So we're seeing some real excitement around that ongoing. And then it has a variety of benefits, when pairing with energy storage systems, allowing you to scale those up and down to fit your unique needs. So that's on the microinverter front. And not to mention, we're also making them here in America, finally, which is really exciting. Thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, we were producing the microinverters in South Carolina, Wisconsin, and Texas at facilities in those areas, and so that's really exciting. Made it in America, we love it. And then on the storage front, we have our new storage product, the IQ Battery 5P, which better, faster, stronger than the previous iterations. Very modular in design, a 5 kilowatt battery. With incredible power capacity, and can be stacked as big as you want to accommodate whatever needs the homeowner has. So that's sort of solar and batteries, and then really excited about our EV line of products. So we're rolling out a smart EV charger. We acquired a company, Clipper Creek, recently. 2 years ago, and now we've rebranded the EV chargers, and we're integrating that into our entire home energy system, allowing you to track and manage your home power and your car power all in one app from your cell phone. So very a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I mean, we were talking a little off camera, but I definitely want to dive in a little more about the 5P. That's a big announcement. Obviously, the 7 series inverters, the IQ7s, were hugely popular. The IQ8s have been incredibly popular up to this point. I'm excited to hear a little bit about some of them. We'll see how much we can talk about it, but the higher performance versions as well, especially for some of those particular modules out there that are maybe high voltage, or there isn't really a sweet spot yet today where you could take, for example, like an REC Pure R panel. What do you pair it with? So excited to kind of hear more about that. But on the topic of the 5P, let's kind of start there, because that was what we were talking about originally. Where do you feel the 5P compared to the previous 10T, how it really differentiates itself? I mean, we can go over quick specs of it as well. I mean, obviously it's more power, not the same storage, but it's a smaller size, so you can stack multiple together. Maybe kind of talk through a little bit of about that for us here.
Yeah, I think a lot of exciting things with the 5P. We've been really excited about this. From an installer perspective, some of the more exciting things are, the power, which you were talking about, which allows you to start up big appliances, heavy loads, right? So HVAC systems, pool pumps. You can now really back up your home and start these heavy appliances where you might not have been able to do that because of power limitations with previous generations, right? We've also extended the warranty. So all of our batteries now have 15-year warranties, which industry leading.
That's awesome.
And super exciting. It's just a level of confidence we have in our products. It allows our installers to sort of confidently install these products and provide homeowners a really great experience. So, I think there's a lot of excitement there. It's also, an incredibly sophisticated battery. It's got our microinverters built into it. That gives you a level of reliability that other batteries don't have, which might have more of a centralized inverter framework. We have 6 microinverters that are plugged into the 5P. One of those microinverters goes down, you're still operating that battery at 90+% capacity. So there's a reliability excitement there. In addition to sort of the power developments that we've been able to make. So a lot of exciting stuff.
I think that's one of the big things that I've always talked a lot about with Enphase is just the level of redundancy measure, right? Especially if you're using it for a lot of our clientele in southern parts of Florida, coastal Texas regions, area where hurricanes are much more common. Could also be in California where maybe there's blackouts or whatever the concern may be about when you're really using the battery for backup purposes. Making sure there's adequate redundancies in place. If one part of the battery, or I should even say the Enphase IQ platform as a whole, right? An inverter fails, well, you've lost one panel. Not great, but it's better than one central point of failure. Yeah, so Andy, one of the things that is pretty common, obviously, with battery backup is not just the ability to have it for emergencies, blackouts, brownouts, whatever it may be, but now with NEM3 in California and other utilities probably inevitably following suit in some way, how are we finding or how are we seeing with Enphase battery products the ability to use that as a, time of use scenario or just complying with NEM3 in general?
Yeah, it's a great topic. We're super excited about the capabilities of our batteries, to do, sort of rate arbitrage, right? So, certain times of day, power is more valuable. You can either self-consume that power with your battery, or you can send it back to the grid and be compensated for that, right? And so, we're now offering a product with our 5P where you don't need a system controller. So the system controller, just for your audience, allows you to microgrid and have a backup, a sanctioned backup on your home, and cuts you off from the grid during an outage, right? So you eliminate that, you're reducing the cost of the overall system, and now you just have the battery, some communications equipment, and the solar. And so you're essentially creating just a home energy management where you're using the cheapest available electron possible, whether that's from the grid or from your battery, or you're sending that power back to the grid to be compensated for it. In California, during certain times of the summer, it's significant money. We're talking hundreds of dollars a week you could be making. I mean, so, that's real cash. That's can give you a payback period of up as low as 5 years on your entire solar and battery system.
Yeah, not to mention that after that, you own it, free and clear.
Now it's free and clear.
Huge value.
Yeah, there's huge value there, and so we're super excited about that, and I think California is sort of the first domino to fall, but we are expecting it in other places. But we think there's a really great case to be made about the value of solar and battery systems, and we think there's an excellent future for these products going forward.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that as well, because for the years that I've been in solar, now it's my 8th year. When I first got started, a lot of what we did was purely backup systems. And I think the beautiful thing about a solar system with battery now is you can give yourself the ability to do both, right, depending on what your needs are. But maybe you live in an area too where power outages are just not as common, but utility costs are exponentially higher or whatever it may be. So I'm a little curious as well. So if we were to nix the controller from the system, you're able to use it from an energy management perspective. But if there was an outage, you don't have any means of self-contained microgrid type of...
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And, we've seen it in other countries in particular, right? In Germany, for example, you don't install a solar energy system without a battery in the entire country of Germany. It'd be very rare. And it's for this exact reason. Power prices are so high that people are trying to self-consume as much as they possibly can. They're generating their solar energy, they're storing what they're not using, and then they're using that when they need the power, right? And so, there's a real value proposition there for just getting the cheapest electron possible into your house, right? So, we're sort of now seeing that pop up in more sophisticated markets in the United States. Hawaii was one of the first, California now, but utility rates aren't going to go down. They're only going up, is what we anticipate. So I think we're going to see a lot more of this action across the country.
Yeah, it makes sense. Totally makes sense. So on the Enphase side of things, is there any systems you guys have in place today that allows homeowners or installers or sales professionals to really properly sort of articulate how that economic side of things can work, right? I mean, you can bring in data from utility sources of saying, hey, during this time to that time, here's rates. Is there any does Enphase have a tool that is able to be used to kind of help figure out what a real life savings forecast could be?
It's a great question. A couple of really important things. So one, Enphase acquired a company, SolarGraph, not too long ago.
Oh yeah, the design platform.
It's a solar design and proposal platform, and that has sort of a built-in algorithm that is able to spit out, the modeling that would appropriately calculate, sort of a return on investment for a system in a complex market like California, right, where the rates are changing daily, right? And so, that's sort of the front layer where you can sort of help homeowners off the bat initially understand, what is the value proposition in my exact market with my exact products that I want, and what are the best products for you. And then when you have our products, we have very intelligent microchips that are built into all of our microinverters, which are, behind the solar panels and in the batteries. We are automatic, and that feeds into your Enphase app on your phone. Mm-hmm. That's all. You're automatically, dealing with this rate arbitrage in real time just by signing up. You click savings mode on your phone, and you're going to get the maximum savings possible. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to think about it. You can switch that over. Maybe a big storm's coming. You switch that to backup mode.
Yep.
Now you can, sort of effectively protect yourself from an outage. It's all seamless and takes just a click of a button. I think it's much too complicated to expect a homeowner to manage that on a daily basis or research that or even try to understand. We don't want that. We want as little friction as possible for homeowners. So it's all built in. We build those algorithms up front, and you just click a button to execute it.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I know for a lot of people, I also get this question from time to time. It's as much as solar has grown, there's still a huge population that seems to just really not understand it, where they'll think, okay, because I went solar, do I never have, what appliances can I run or can I run, or how do I operate on the grid or off the grid? So trying to make it as simple as possible for every adopter is a huge part of that, obviously. I know one of the things you mentioned there as far as storms and stuff, because you guys also have the Storm Guard, I think is what it's called, right? Capability where it can pick up like localized weather data, predictive analysis, essentially. And then I guess also tuning your battery for how much storage you want to leave in the battery, or whether you're going to design it to 100%, depth of discharge and recharge. All of those things are still commonplace.
And it's a very simple thing. I encourage people to open up their apps and to look at this. I mean, it's literally a couple clicks of a button, and you can preset, I want my battery to never go below a certain state of charge, right? Mm-hmm. And some people, that's 50%. Some people, that's 20%, because they want to maximize maybe their self-consumption or their energy export, right? And, and some people just, all they care about is resiliency. And so they may never discharge their battery and just keep it at 100% state of charge because they have frequent outages. Yeah. So it's it really depends on the unique need of the customers, and I think that's where Enphase comes in and is really special, because we're offering, a unique platform for that unique individual and catering to those unique needs, whether it's, creating a system designed specifically for them, and making it as easy as possible on our software platforms.
Yeah, very cool. So let's talk a little more. Joe and I recently did a whole YouTube live training on the IQ system kind of as a whole, right? Mm-hmm. So working your way from inverters, microinverters, possibly to a controller with a battery, without battery, whatever it is. But let's kind of talk through and like the idea behind the IQ system. I mean, this seems to be a pretty common trend that we're now seeing from a lot of other manufacturers as well, of trying to have this all-in-one ecosystem platform, EV charger, maybe bidirectional EV charger.
Yeah.
What do you think really is Enphase's strongest position in the market when it comes to that platform side of it? How would you kind of articulate that to someone looking into solar for the first time?
Absolutely. And we actually call it the Enphase energy system, right? Okay. Within the Enphase energy system, you have the IQ microinverters, you have the IQ batteries, and you can add IQ EVSE chargers or IQ EV chargers. And so these are all sort of under the Enphase energy system, where it can all be controlled. And then you have your app, right? We've talked a lot about the Enphase app. I think it's one of the most brilliant things that we offer. It's one of the most data-rich and sexiest parts of our ecosystem, because obviously, because of the microinverter being underneath each panel, you get panel by panel information and data real time, which is just fantastic, right? And so the Enphase energy system as a whole is meant to, ultimately be, sort of a one-stop shop for home energy management, where, again, people can get the cheapest electron possible if that's what they value. They can get that backup if they want it. They can charge their car with clean, green energy from their own solar system if, sustainability is their primary objective, right? So we're trying to keep that platform, trying to offer everything under that platform using our every single one of these things has our microinverters in it, and enabling the sophisticated technology that we have, to operate each of these systems. Another really exciting thing that we're working on is an IQ energy router that we would add into the Enphase energy system. I'm sure you're aware, and it's a huge selling point for installers across the country, is that more and more people are adding EVs to their homes. More and more people are adding heat pumps to their homes, right? As electrification increases, the amount of load at the homes and thus the power bills are going up and skyrocketing. The electricity demand is going up. So we've created an IQ energy router that's going to be launched in North America soon, that will allow a customer to, again, direct the cheapest possible electron to these devices, right? You're running your heat pump at 6 p.m., that can be really expensive during a peak demand power moment. And we want to make sure that you can route the cleanest, cheapest energy from your battery or from your solar system to those devices that are demanding a ton. So I think the Enphase energy system is really, holistically looking at home energy management and trying to empower people to do whatever their home energy goals are, whether that's save money, have reliable 24/7 power, or be as sustainable as possible. And I think we're really achieving that.
Very cool. Yeah, again, I mean, I've been a really big fan of the Enphase system for a long time. I think a lot of the recent developments that you guys have made between, obviously newer microinverters, battery system, generator capabilities, what the controller can handle, how the EV can play into that. It's pretty cool to have that all-in-one type of platform. That's one thing I tell clients a lot of times, and for those of you maybe customers that are researching the systems, that's one of the biggest things I think Enphase, and maybe it's just my perspective on it, but it seems like almost really pioneered was that energy system, because it puts it all in one place. It makes it a very seamless, easy to use process with the ability to also be modular and scalable and kind of expand off of it. which is where I think maybe some other manufacturers have had some limitations is my energy needs change 5 years from now. I installed a heat pump, or policy passes that require I have to convert from a gas appliance to electric appliances, and my needs go up. I have more space for solar. I want to add to this. How does that work and that type of stuff? So I think that part's really, really neat.
Yeah, it's such a good point. I think it is a really big value proposition for our system, which is, whether you size the system at 125% off the bat, and then, you add an EV, you add two EVs, that quickly, changes
90%, 80%.
Yeah, you're back in the red. And so people are constantly wanting to add more. Their biggest regret is I didn't add more solar. Now you can add more solar with an Enphase energy system without disrupting the overall system. And you can add more batteries over time if you have a sophisticated market like California and you want to take more advantage of that, or you need more backup. You want to back up more appliances in your home, right? The modularity of it and the ability to grow as your needs grow, as your family's needs grow, is huge. It's a great point.
It's very cool. Very cool. So one thing I wanted to kind of touch on briefly. So a lot of the clients, I say clients, but a lot of those people in the industry that I work with are sales professionals on the business side, right? Now I know that our Solar Surge channel largely targets homeowners, people that are interested in product reviews, things like that, but we have a subsection of people that oftentimes are sending our videos out to their homeowner clients as a way of explaining something. So from the business side of things, what does that Enphase energy system really mean to a business or to a salesperson designing a system? Where does some of the simplification come in, the savings come in, the streamline side of things? How does it make a business effectively become more profitable at the end of the day?
It's such a good question, and I think at Enphase installers are the center of our universe. They're the most important thing. Customer experience and customer service is important. When people call us, we answer the phone. It's like a crazy concept, but it just...
Shocker.
I know, like, what a concept, but you're not going to wait more than a minute when you call Enphase. That's just how we operate, right? And so, I think we offer that. These are complicated systems. You run into issues, with an installation, and we're gonna be able to help you through it. And that's a real value to installer businesses. We've received that feedback, and I think, with the IQ Battery 5P, we're also trying to reduce the commissioning times of.
I know we were talking.
Products.
I wanted to ask about that because we were talking a little off camera about that.
That's been a big goal of ours. It has been a pain point in the industry. Just long installation times with some of these more complicated battery systems. We're trying to get that under 30 minutes, so that it's just plug and play and move on to the next job. Right? That's a real value to installers. And then additionally, just the overall reliability of our products. You and I have been talking about. One micro goes down. Most of the system's still operating and functioning at a high level. That's really important. Because it reduces the number of truck rolls that has to happen. It reduces the urgency of truck rolls. Maybe, one microinverter goes down, you can get to it at an appropriate time, and you're not going to have a really unhappy homeowner, right? Now, most likely one of those micros isn't going to go down because these things are incredibly reliable and are built to last 25 years, right? So, that's another thing. Like we have so much belief in our reliability that we have the leading warranties for all of our products. We have a 25-year warranty on the microinverters. That's unmatched in the industry, not even close. We have a 15-year warranty on our batteries, unmatched in the industry, So we believe in that, and I think that's a huge value to our installer partners as well. So I think, just to recap, it's ensuring that we have an incredible customer experience, with customer service being a core value of ours, and letting installers know that we have their back. It's reducing friction in the installation process, which is only adding value, because the less time you spend at a job, the more time you can spend at another job, and thus increase the profitability of your business. And then, third is just the overall reliability of our systems. I think, adds a ton of value, and the simplicity of our systems, reduces the need for large amounts of inventory and complicated SKUs and all of these different things, right? So, I think, we're really proud of our relationships with our installers. Like I said, it's the most important thing to us, and, I think we have a lot to offer there.
I think, you mentioned as well, a couple of the really strong sides of Enphase are those warranties. 25 years, like you said, on a microinverter out of the box, too. I know when I'm when I'm selling and representing Enphase in that respect, I'm like, look, other companies are going to charge you to get to that. It's not a standard. 15-year warranty on a battery is great. I mean, standard for most manufacturers is about 10 years.
10,
You might see 12 out of some people, but 15 is awesome. And I guess that's now considered the standard as opposed to where you guys used to be able to purchase an extended warranty. 15 is just now kind of the
standard.
That's awesome.
Out of the box. And then even our EV chargers, I failed to mention, but those are 5-year warranties, and you really can't find that anywhere else in the industry. Most of them are 2 to 3 years at most, or you have to buy an extra one. So, it's just a value of ours. It's the quality that it goes into the manufacturing, and I hope someday that you or your audience will reach out to us. Come see our manufacturing sites. We're now made in America, and we're in Texas, South Carolina, Wisconsin. We'll get you in there, and you can see the process for yourself. I mean, it is incredibly sophisticated. And you just see and you can feel like why these products are so reliable. I mean, you can run these things. You could set this in a fish tank and run it underwater. I mean, it's incredible. We ramp these things up to high heat in our testing chambers. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of degrees, and we drop it straight down into sub-zero temperatures to make sure that these things can last for 25 years exposed to the elements. It's a really special part of our products.
It's really cool. Yeah, and most of the audience watching today probably already has a general concept of what these are, but I mean, again, this is the size of the actual inverter doing the main load of the work, the DC to AC conversion.
The brains.
I mean, it's two hands, it's a fairly small device when it's all said and done, but
it packs a lot of power.
A lot of punch. No, that's great. I think a lot of great things happening, obviously, at Enphase. Really excited to see how, as some of these products really start coming to market, start getting out there, the 5P, excited to see how that plays out in practice and how you integrate in the EV chargers and eventually bidirectional charging, things of that sort, to really build out that Enphase energy system like you talked about a lot more. So, very cool.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to, and I think, we're going to have a ton of product launches this year, both here in the U.S. and abroad, internationally, and then some big ones next year, including our hope to launch the bidirectional EV charger, which can provide, your car can power your home. Incredible concept. You all have covered it a lot on your channels.
We have,
and we're super excited about that.
Do we have a loose time frame for that one, or anything we can?
We've said end of last year, and we're continuing to say end of next year.
2024.
Yeah, 2020, and we continue to say that. So we're pushing towards that date. I think there's a big demand for something like this in the market, and it just is going to make the Enphase energy system, the home energy management system, that much more sophisticated. It's really exciting. Yeah.
Very cool. Do we have there's been a little bit of even recently changes in the EV charging world, as there's this fight to kind of standardize charging adapters, things of that. Anything really that Enphase has identified as far as like what type of, is it CHAdeMO, is it CCS, is it, I'm blanking on the other, I guess Tesla's adapter has kind of become a NCS or things, something like that.
We have recently announced that we are going to meet the latest industry standards, where our products will meet. I can't remember
There's so many different letters.
The acronyms kill me, but the standard, I believe, is going to be that Tesla charger plug-in. And we are going to have our products that can meet that.
Very cool.
So we want to make sure we're staying with what the market's demanding, and what auto manufacturers are moving towards. We're working with big auto manufacturers. We're having great conversations with a lot of big OEMs, and building products that are going to work for consumers. And so we have said that we're going to be able to meet those standards, and I think it's just an incredibly exciting time, in the EV space, and for your audience, I think it's just such a perfect pairing, right? Like, as people add these EV chargers and they are shocked to see their electricity bills skyrocket through the roof. I don't think, people don't think about energy that much. I think I saw a statistic that the average consumer, the average person, thinks about energy 8 minutes a year, and that's mostly when they're flipping on and off an electricity or a light switch,
or they get a crazy bill in the mail, something
or
like
they
that.
get a crazy bill in the mail. So
Yeah.
that first utility bill after you get an EV charger is shocking to people, and that's when the calls start coming in for solar. I'm sure you've had a lot of them yourself. So,
Absolutely.
it's a really cool place to play in where you're both offering that charging equipment and you're having the conversation with consumers about solar and battery solutions.
Absolutely.
So.
And again, look, the basic logic for everyone out there watching too is simply that, and we say this all the time, Joe and I talk about it all the time, the going solar almost in any market, in any scenario, is still going to be better than not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially as electric vehicles now become more popular, you're going to have a need for how do you fuel that vehicle, right? So it's like, look, if you were going to be charging at home, would you rather own your power through your own system or still have to kind of rent it per se from the utility company? So, going solar is the right decision for anybody.
Yeah.
With the Enphase system, I think it's probably also a good decision for a lot of people.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Well, Andy, appreciate you jumping on here with us. Again, this has been Andy from Enphase, Head of Communications. Again, folks, for those of you that are tuning in, appreciate you spending some time here just listening to us today. If you have any information, any questions, anything, obviously you can visit the Enphase website. We've got a lot of different videos on our channel as well, covering a ton of the different products that we've already talked about here. I'm sure a lot more to come. So appreciate your time. Thanks for tuning in. Again, this has been Dan here from Solar Surge, encouraging you to get prepared and be empowered. Thanks so much.